English Literature Studies.
Hey there! Finally, welcome back to English Literature Studies. In this video, we're gonna look at what is prosody. So, the word prosody comes from a Latin word prosodia, meaning accent of a syllable. Syllable is the shortest unit of any word. If we cut a word, syllable is a unit of pronunciation, which has one vowel sound only. Let's look at further. Prosody may be defined as systematic study of versification, covering the principles of meter, rhythm, rhyme, and stanza form. In simple words, it studies the pattern of sound, rhythm, rhyme. Of course, prosody is in prose also, but here we'll discuss prosody in the light of poetry only. So, we can also say that it is the study of all elements of language that create rhythmic effect in poetry. Now, one more thing to mention here is that literary critics regard prosody as part of grammar. Since English is a rhythmic language, so prosody studies pattern of stress in words and sentences and intonation also. Let's look at some linguistic features of prosody. It studies loudness, pitch, and duration of words or syllables. It studies rhythm, meter, rhyme, and sounds. Let's look at first what is rhythm. Well, rhythm studies how is the flow maintained in the poetry, how the syllables in a word are stressed and unstressed. To measure those stressed and unstressed syllables in a poetry, we use poetic foot. Poetic foot is the unit of measurement to measure stressed and unstressed syllable in a poetry. It is based on number of syllables in each foot. So the rhythm is defined according to the syllables, how they are stressed and unstressed. For example, this poetic line has been taken from Twelfth Night by William Shakespeare. Now the green parts of the words are unstressed syllables. These green parts, IFF, SIC, THE, and rest of the words in green font color. However, the red parts of the words or syllables are stressed as compared to the green one. So if I follow the pattern, means unstressed and stressed syllable, it will sound like, if music be the food of love, play on. If music be the food of love, play on. If music be the food of love, play on. So this is how unstressed and stressed syllables sound. Now, what is meter? In poetry, meter are number of feet. As mentioned here, foot. Now, pair of unstressed and stressed syllable is 1 foot. Now, when they say monometer, means it has 2 syllables in the poetic line. When we say 2 feet, it means 4 syllables. When we say trimeter, it means 6 syllables. Tetrameter, it means 8 syllables. Pentameter, it means 10 syllables. When we say hexameter, it means 12 syllables in a poetic line. For example, in the same poetic line, if we see this is a first syllable, second syllable, third syllable, fourth syllable, the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and then 10th, the last one. The counting below this poetic line refers to number of syllables. But here, above this poetic line, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, this refers to number of foot. So 10 syllables is equal 5 feet. And when we say 5, 5 means pentameter lines. That is why we call them pentameter lines. So this is how we define meter in a poetry. Next, now what is rhyme? Repetition of syllables typically at the end of a verse line. For example, 10,000 I saw at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. If you notice, glance and dance, these two are rhyming. And there are number of poetic devices used by the poet to create a musical effect in the poetry. And of course, in prosody, we do study those sounds. And some of them are alliteration, assonance, onomatopoeia, and caesura. If we talk about alliteration, it is the repetition of the consonant sounds. Assonance is repetition of vowel sounds. It mostly occurs in middle of the words. Onomatopoeia are the words that describe sounds. Suppose, leaves rustle, popcorns pop, and caesura is a pause in the verse that is used to dramatize the whole idea. So that's all for the prosody, especially for poetry. Thank you so much for watching English Literature Studies.